all the teams now get themselves into position. This will be interesting, Stevie, because over the course of the last 2 days in practice, we split the fleet up in groups of 6 and 5. Now it's all 11, and that is a very tight course.
Well, yeah, and what catches my eye is how short that first downwind leg is. It's going to be compressed at the bottom.
So 1 minute to go until we take off here, racing for the first time in beautiful Auckland.
Well, the first thing, again, we look at the start line, that red line on the middle of our screen there, the blue pole position spot there. That suggests the optimum place to start to get yourself to Mark 1 the first. And we can see that's going to be all the boats battling for that end. Can you find some space? New Zealand, top of screen. They look really late here on board the Kiwi boat. They're well out of position right now. Denmark, upwind end of the line. They look like they might find some space. It's the United States manoeuvring at the back of the line.
And here we go, 20 seconds before the start of race number 1 in New Zealand.
Germany perfectly positioned right now, and at the moment the pole predictor sits with Canada, but I don't see any space for them. New Zealand will miss this start and be a little late. They're going to have to come from behind. Watching now as Switzerland and Great Britain out the middle of the line, but Germany's still well positioned. Watch for the line to turn white. We're racing now.
Penalty Italy.
Oh, penalty Italy, that's an incident from
Australia.
The Australians early on, but it's Spain, Great Britain and Switzerland in a drag race towards Mark 1, and the Spanish hold the inside. They should lead from here at Mark 1.
As they approach mark number 1 in the first race of the day, it is the defending champions from last season, Spain, out in front. They'll grab the whole shot, the first one here in Auckland.
Lovely job on that first length. The Rolex sprint leader there, Spain, and that's a big lead to take out of Mark 1. Great Britain first to manoeuvre. How well do the teams handle these new foils?
Diego Botín, they have a nice lead. There you see Dylan Fletcher, Emirates GBR, currently sitting in second place. Stevie, the penalty still on the mass of Red Bull Italy.
Yeah, it's an incident between Italy and Australia, and you can see the Australians are still well behind Italy. Italy have got to get behind Australia, and they've got to do it quick, otherwise that penalty will keep growing. Left-hand side of screen, United States and New Zealand, they're in the race, but they're a long way back as we see Spain. Look at that, they're just stretching away here.
So it's Spain and Emirates GBR out in front. Look at the speeds approaching 65 kilometers an hour, and then it's everyone else. So the battle is on between the Brits and the Spaniards.
Oh, it looks like a football stadium there, that grandstand in the background. Huge crowd in there, and it's Great Britain that have judged this downwind leg the best. They've managed to cut the corner on the Spanish, and they lead at gate 2.
At the DP World Gate, gate number 2 here on the first race of the day. Yesterday, Stevie, everyone was going to the other side. How much of a change do you think is what we saw in the conditions yesterday?
Yeah, well, I think that's Ian Murray race geometry. It's interesting how he's laid it. He's taken the boats right into the grandstand there. And we see Spain have manoeuvred away early. Nice gust of wind that Great Britain and Spain are in, and these two boats have a big, big lead. I think what's evident out there on the racecourse already, it's very gusty. You can see those dark patches of water somewhere near Switzerland and Australia right now, but if you end up in a light bit, as the fleet did, you lose a lot of distance very quickly.
Remember, it's all about getting points over the course of the fleet races before the big final on Sunday. 10 points for the winner, none for last place, 1 point for 10th, and right now it is Emirates GBR out in front, Spain in second, the Germans out into third place, with Italy now absolving that penalty. They sit in fourth, and the Australians in fifth.
Yeah, they managed to do a good job of taking that penalty. I like where Spain are heading. They're definitely sailing back towards some good wind. You can see the winds rotated towards that Auckland shoreline there. Spain are going to start to accelerate, potentially putting a challenge in on the Brits. Big breeze in that top corner where Spain are heading to. Good news for Spanish fans, but the Kiwis, right-hand side of our screen, they're still way at the back of the pack. A lot of work to do for the hometown favourites.
The winners of the first event in November down in Dubai, New Zealand sits in 10th place. They just moved ahead of the Americans. Now they sit in 9th behind Switzerland. Australia has moved up a place or two. They're still behind Denmark, but it's still Emirates GBR and Spain, the class of the fleet right now, going 1 and 2.
There we go, Dylan Fletcher and Ian Jensen on board the British boat, working hard to put the clamps on the Spanish boat. Sailed the boat close to the wind. They're putting disturbed air onto the Spanish now, so slightly slowing the Spanish, but both these boats, well, it's a battle royale between these two. Expect a split at the top here. Could well see a right turn for the Spanish to try and find wind away from Great Britain. There go the Spanish.
So that could be the move of the match at gate number 3. They'll make their way back down. Wind conditions have stayed relatively same, but look at the speed difference between Spain and Emirates GBR.
Yeah, really hard to do that extra maneuver at the top there, especially I think with these new foils and these gusty conditions, the teams aren't as slick as possible. One thing to hold on to today, I think, Todd, it's really, really hard to do the basics well. So you've got to prioritise doing the manoeuvres well in good wind. Maybe Spain rushed that a little bit there.
And this one gets a little tricky as well. You've got Emirates GBR and Spain making their way down the course, the rest of the fleet coming up the course, so you got to deal with priority and oncoming boats.
Yeah, first world problem for those leaders, really, though. Let's take that in this huge lead that they've got themselves there. Italy in third, what a good performance. They've had a last-minute substitution, and it's the New Zealand team. Well, they're struggling at the moment, but they are, as always, moving through the fleet, and there's still another few legs to do. We're only at the halfway stage of this race. Opportunity still for Burling & Co. to find a magic path through the fleet.
Red Bull Italy, Ruggero Tita, the driver, the 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 4-time NACRA world champion. There is definitely skill and talent on board that boat. We just haven't seen it in practice or at the first event, but here they are sitting in a top 4 position. The Germans, presented by Deutsche Bank, now sitting in third.
Well, the Italians as well, Spain, they're picking up an unforced error, really. They pushed a bit wide on the course, trying to maximise that. But yeah, the Italians, they had a last-minute substitution, actually, Todd, with Andrea Tessi, the flight controller. I don't know if he got injured or something happened, but Jason Saunders from the French team, French obviously, unfortunately, not racing here this weekend. Jason stepped in, quite experienced as a flight controller, and maybe there's a safe set of hands there, that little bit more experience. So yeah, good performance so far from the Italians. Germany up to third, and New Zealand slowly working their way through the fleet.
Leg 5 of 7 in the first race of the day here at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix, Auckland. As Lisa Darmanin mentioned before we went racing, Stevie, the conditions are near ideal. Sold out, no tickets available, the grandstands are full, and the sun is out. This is a picture-perfect day, and what a way to come to the city of sails.
Good angle there. Pretty soft down here.
Yeah, I mean, you should be enjoying this if you're on board that Emirates Great Britain boat. Out in front, they're able to take the first choice. Spain, you could see Spain try and force something a lap ago. They went the wrong way. They suddenly lost 200-300 metres. Oh, tight moment between Germany and Spain. All fair, all clear, it looked like there, and Germany could well be up to third here. Got a chance to dive inside the Italians. Italy will be quick on the exit from the mark.
Coming up. On the outside.
So the Germans have priority once they're in that circle first, and now once they get in the overlap, Germany will have to give the Italians space.
And they've done that, they've manoeuvred away. Look at the fans on the shoreline there. They'll be loving what they're seeing with that little manoeuvre. Rockwool, Denmark, North Star, Canada, they come charging in. This left turn is quite favoured. It means it's really forcing the teams to go that way. Ian Murray's enticing the crews in towards the crowd on the shoreline.
Look at that view, stadium seating there. We've got little mini duels taking place all over. You saw the Italians and the Germans getting together, and now you see North Star Canada and Rockwool Denmark in close quarters. And here come the Kiwis. That'll get the fans out of their seat.
Oh, and look at that Denmark. Remember, Denmark are sitting in 5th right now. So if New Zealand could somehow get back to 5th position from here, what a performance that would be. And there is chance. Look at this. Great Britain, well, they're well out in front. Just one downwind leg to go. This should be a cakewalk for the British team. Spain in 2nd, but back in the pack, it's all to play for. I'd say 3rd all the way back to 7th is wide open.
Emirates GBR and their new driver, Dylan Fletcher, remember, they have made a change on that team. They went from Giles Scott and, of course, some legends on that boat prior to that. But the Olympic gold medalist Dylan Fletcher has really shown his mettle in the last 2 stops, not only here, but in Dubai.
Yeah, and Dylan really likes these shifty conditions. Same with Ian Jensen. You know, they're both very good windy, shifty weather conditions. They got Hannah Mills, of course, they're doing the strategy. She'll love being able to have her head out the boat and find the breeze that's on this course. And as soon as it is as gusty and shifty as that, there's just huge opportunity out there, really. You can see right now Italy in 3rd place, sailing well. Clearly, Ruggero Tita enjoying these conditions.
Emirates GBR and Spain 1 and 2, they're making their way down the course, and then the rest of the fleet. Stevie, can't say enough, though, about Dylan Fletcher stepping into the situation, did such a good job coming in, and you fill in for a guy like Ben Ainsley, and that is not something that's easy to do.
No, he's come in, you know, Ben Ainsley, then Giles Scott in that situation, but Dylan's a, you know, Olympic gold medalist in his own right. He was in season 1 in the F50, right. So he's not a sort of a total newcomer to it. He's got that experience, as we can see there. He swaps sides, Hannah Mills on the wheel after the manoeuvre, and he sets up. He's, yeah, very experienced on it, and he'll just be loving these gusty, shifty conditions. It's just like the Northampton Lake where he grew up sailing.
Of course, the Brits finishing second in the first event, which was the Emirates Dubai Sail Grand Prix in November, and here they come in race number 1. The winning Emirates moment goes the way of Emirates GBR. Dylan Fletcher and company take the win in Auckland.
There we go. Imagine if the Kiwis win, there'll be a little bit more excitement in that crowd than there was for that one there. But yeah, it's of course, we know it's about winning the last race, not the first race, but what a great start.
So now the battle is on.
Umpires, penalty Denmark, relative Australia, port tack boat not keeping clear.
Oh, Denmark, that's going to be costly for them. That shows potentially their little place change for New Zealand. New Zealand moving up past Canada. They put a manoeuvre in. Italy a third. Germany for... Oh, Canada spin the boat. They've got to keep clear of Germany there. Oh, that was a tight manoeuvre by the Canadians. Was it too close? Wow, that was tight.
And while that's taking place, you've got Diego Botín, the winners of last year's overall series. They will claim a second place, so 9 points go the way of the Spanish. Remember, it's all about being a top 3 boat after all the fleet races to get you in to the final on Sunday.
Yeah, those 2 boats just had a great chance to get away. Diego will be happy with that. I mean, he won't like the fact that Dylan, they've been long-time rivals in the 49er class. He won't like the fact that he got away. But as we see now, as we head downwind, right now it's New Zealand that have found good wind. Germany and Canada have fallen off the foils, so showing us 4th, it would be New Zealand. They didn't even make it to the start on turn. Incredible from Burling. How does he find this many overtakes? Now he's hunting down the Italians. Can Ruggiero Tito keep him behind? They've got a good position at the moment. Carl Langford, their experienced wing trimmer on that boat. Well, he was worried about sailing the boat just a few days ago. He's going to love where he's coming right now.
Just 2 legs ago, the Black Foils of New Zealand were sitting in 9th place, Stevie. Now they're sitting in 4th with a possibility of picking up yet another spot if they can reel in Red Bull Italy with less than 190 meters separating them.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty daunting for the rest of the fleet, isn't it? I mean, you know, the Kiwis, we said it's hard to do the basics well, and I mean, turning up and being at the start line on time, I'd put in the category of basics. They didn't do that, but now they're coming back through the fleet at a rate of knots here. Really going well. Up to 4th, Australia 5th, and it's been a disastrous last downwind for Canada. We saw that rush manoeuvre. They were in 4th for that point. Italy off the foils, but they should be round this final mark.
So the Italians on the last leg heading home, they will take 3rd. And now you've got 3 boats converging here on this last mark. It's going to be New Zealand, it looks like, that's going to hold off their rivals, the Aussies. So they will go 4 and 5 with New Zealand and Australia, and the USA trying to figure out how to get around this with 1 extra maneuver.
Yeah, well, the USA have done well here. They were right at the back as well, and there's a famous saying in England, it's not all over till the fat lady sings, and I think that could be the name of the game here, because there's opportunities all the way around the racetrack. As we see the United States just hold on the inside. Rockwool Denmark, they're going around the outside. Can Sehested accelerate that Danish boat and come back at the Americans before the finish? Here comes Canada on the foil still. They look to head over the top. It's really tight as we come in here. What can Taylor Canfield do? He's going to have the right of way. Canada must keep clear. Canada must keep clear.
Taylor Canfield turns in and forces Giles Scott to take evasive measures, but that opens the door for Rockwool Denmark and possibly Germany.
It's all tight on the line. Rockwool Denmark, can Germany find a way through?
Umpires, penalty Canada, relative USA, not giving room at the mark.
Canadians didn't turn out enough, and a penalty on the USA. Oh, it's going to be interesting when this one comes out in the wash. Do Germany get past the United States? I'm not sure if they quite did on the finish. We'll find that out when we get into the details. Oh, Canada was so close to that good result, and then coming in at the back of the pack here, Brazil and Switzerland. Well, they're going to be disappointed with their start to things here. Mubadala Brazil, brilliant in practice yesterday, but struggled in this first race. Yeah, I mean, it's a tight course, isn't it? But in these gusty, shifty conditions, that sort of does tend to stretch the fleet out a bit. It means that, you know, if you find the breeze, you can jump away. Obviously, if you find the holes in the breeze, then you get stuck back behind. So it's tight here. 37 seconds to go. The optimum place to start, again towards that downwind end of the start line. Look how congested it is. Switzerland, Great Britain, Germany, Denmark, Spain and Italy, all fighting for that spot. Out the back, it's New Zealand at the moment, but Burling will be looking for a good gap here at the top of the line. Brazil, left-hand side of our screen. They've got some space. Can they manage to make things happen? Right now, the Rolex pole predictor sits on the Kiwi boat. They have found a gap through the middle. 10 seconds to go. It's all about the acceleration. Canfield on the United States looks well positioned, but he's going to have to go fast from that top end of the line. Watch for the line to turn white. We're racing here. What a start from Canfield. He's absolutely lit up coming into Mark 1 here. He's so fast on board that boat. They should be able to lead round Mark 1, and Fletcher on Emirates Great Britain, he's chasing him down again.
Breeze is quite right at the moment, 65.
So at mark number 1, it is US SailGP Lady Liberty leading the way on this second race here in Auckland.
Oh, they just did a great job of finding space there, Todd, and now they have got space. They're the Rolex Sprint leader at Mark 1, and they've got space to set themselves up for this first manoeuvre. It's got to have to be smooth.
The question is, can Taylor Canfield in the US do exactly what Emirates GBR in Spain did in the first race, Stevie? Get away from the fleet, check out, and get the win.
Just going to come out for bad air.
Well, I think it's got no excuse not to from that position. You know, they're well ahead here. They've got every advantage that they could hope to have. They've manoeuvred nicely, but Tom Slingsby's breathing down their neck.
Let's talk about tactics here. I want to go left straight in. That's short to boundary that way. Are you still okay with that?
Mike Buckley and Taylor Canfield don't seem to be naturally straight on the same page there. I think that left turn's been working well at the bottom before, but as Taylor alludes to, you're going to get right in towards the crowds very quickly, so you've got to do a manoeuvre soon. I think they'll be happy with that, though.
And how about those crowds? Sell out today in Auckland, and it's not even Championship Sunday. That comes tomorrow. And right now, the Americans will make the turn at the DP World Gate at the bottom of the course. And Tom Slingsby, as you said, Stevie, hot on their heels. So it's USA, Australia, Emirates GBR, and Italy, your top 4.
Yeah, and Emirates Great Britain, they've manoeuvred away to the other side of the course. I think they're going to pay an extra penalty distance-wise early on, but they will have space as the leg goes on. Nice manoeuvre, look at that right-hand side of screen. That hull stayed out of the water. Perfect foiling tack by the Australians there. They're up and running, and they'll be putting the pressure back on the United States team. But Canfield well positioned at the moment, and it's Italy in 4th again. Great first day of racing for Roger T. Turner's team.
And hit it, Jules.
Good pressure here, but light at the boundary.
Trying to keep fast-ish here.
And the running theme, Stevie, seems to find speed and keep it fast.
Yeah, I think on a day like this, you've got to work out what your priorities are in terms of your decision-making. I think for me, the decision-making would be, can I find the darker patches of water, the gusts of wind? If I stay in the gusts of wind, I'm going to have a lot more boat speed. If you remember these foiling boats, Todd, if you can find maybe 1-2 kilometres an hour more wind speed,
right,
that's potentially 5-6 kilometres an hour more boat speed. So it's just such a priority to find that. And then once you've got the wind, then think about the angle you're sailing and minimise the distance.
And like race number 1, the Kiwis, the hometown team, find themselves in a bit of a hole. They were 9th in leg number 2 in race number 1. Here they are 9th on leg 3 of race number 1. They would finish the first race in 4th place, so a lot of work to do for Pete Burling, the winners of the first event in Dubai.
I think all the way and then a little H1 out.
Great shot here of those T-foils on the front of the boat there. These new T-foils, we got high speed, and what that means is you get that extra boat speed. We come and look into the Oracle Cloud there, bottom left-hand side, and that gives us an idea of what the wind speed's like. Well, Great Britain right now, look at that. They've got an awful lot more boat speed on the British boat at the moment. They're near the Auckland shoreline, going well, but it's still Australia and the United States battling for the lead. Advantage Slingsby at the moment. He's putting the pressure on Canfield and co.
And Taylor Canfield's had enough of that. He makes the turn early. So it's Australia who has inherited first place. US SailGP sits in 2nd. Red Bull Italy in a top 3 position again, and then Emirates GBR. And then we get a first look at Rockwell, Denmark. They have now moved into the top 5.
Crucial for United States to get around this gate with no more manoeuvres. They have done it. Canfield's judged it well. They'll hold the lead. Should be able to stretch away. Does the Australian follow? Yes, he does. And it's Emirates Great Britain up to 3rd.
And that's saying something, Stevie, when you can yield a lead to Australia and someone like Tom Slingsby, a 3-time winner in the league, and then get it back, you're doing something right. You're doing a pretty good job. It's what we call a paper lead, though. They were the Australians were in the lead on paper, but strategically, United States still had control of the situation right now. Now things have opened up. That's where we're going to see the tactics come into play. Great Britain move away early. Has he found more wind?
And maybe H1 here.
H1, that's not a good sound on the downwind leg. United States right-hand side of screen, they're off the foil. Oh, and there's a big gust of wind on board the US boat. Have a look at it. Oh, they plug it. That could be a huge problem. That boat's going to be full of water right now. They're going to struggle to re-accelerate. What a mistake there, falling off the foil through the jibe on the downwind leg. Disaster for US flags. What a mistake.
So thousands of pounds of water in those holes. You heard it, Stevie. Taylor Canfield calling H1. Dropping one hole in the water, and then it all went south.
Well, as soon as I heard H1, it's like, oh no, you can't do that on a downwind leg in this breeze. Here we see the maneuver. They get a little high. Oh, and then they fall off the foils. They just stall things, and there's a big gust coming to hit them right now, and that powers the boat up. Several extra 100 horsepower of energy going into the boat, and oh, they couldn't deal with that acceleration. Disaster here. What happens? Just do it in a bit of a light spot, and they try and fly the boat a bit high. It comes lifted up at the front, and then it's off the foil. No good there for the US team. What a disaster. Still, luckily, a lot of race left here for them to get through it, but they're going to be disappointed with that. As we can see at the bottom, Emirates Great Britain, I think they're chasing round behind the Australians. And Ruggero Tito on the Italian boat, where have they found this form from?
Fine. Up. You want to nearly take it or no?
Diego Botín and the Spaniards making their way down the gate, the DP World Gate at the bottom of the course. 7 legs on this second race. We're scheduled for 4 races today.
Yeah, when you can see there, Denmark are taking a left turn, and they're definitely sailing towards good wind on that side of the course. You can see that dark patch there as we see United States. Well, they're right at the back of the pack now, as are New Zealand, the hometown team. They're really struggling out here today. It's not the normal slick performance that we're used to seeing from Pete Burling, Blair Tuke and the team. Really surprising to see. Right-hand side of ski in Rockwell, Denmark. Have they found something good? How's the manoeuvres on this Kiwi boat?
That's Rockwell there.
I think what's quite an interesting thing with these T-foils, you see on that left-hand side, at bottom of our screen there, on that hull, that's the new T-foil. So it's a high-performance foil. It means the boats are faster, but the handling isn't quite as easy. And new flight controller Leo Takahashi got a lot to take on. And of course, it's got the potential to level the playing field a bit, these new foils. And maybe the Kiwis are struggling to adapt to this new foil format.
Angle there for a sec. Your head up. Nice. Right, pace, pretty short on boundary.
Okay, well, they've split towards the other side of the course. They'll be trying to find that extra bit of breeze and rescue as many points as they can. A 10th at this stage of the regatta is not the end of things, but oh, it's a bit of a problem potentially. There's not that many races to work your way back into the event, and with teams like Australia, Great Britain and Italy stretching away and consistently doing that, could be a problem.
So you wonder how big of a loss that was for the Americans. They were in first place. They have dropped back to 9th place. The Australians now have taken over the lead. Emirates GBR, the winners of race number 1, they sit in 2nd, Red Bull Italy in 3rd, and Spain now up to 4th, 1 position ahead of 5th, and Rockwell Denmark.
Todd, I think I said it in race 1, it's very hard to do the basics right on a day like today. And the manoeuvres, everyone in the crowd, everyone at home watching will think, oh, just doing a jibe, turning the boat downwind. That's one of the basics, that's a fundamental sailing skill. It's not that easy in these boats. And USA got caught out, changing the wind, miscommunication, whatever happened. And we're about to see the Australians set up for their manoeuvre. Can they get this one smooth? There we go, Chris Draper, he sets up, crosses the boat, foils down. Slingsby turns the boat. There you go, respect the basics. Beautiful manoeuvre by the Australians. Great Britain follows suit behind. They're trying to cut the corner. Another slick manoeuvre, but you've got to respect the basics.
So there is the finish line in the distance. They'll have that gate in the center of your screen. Then they'll make the left-hand turn and head in front of the fans. And it looks like Australia's going to get it done, Stevie. Remember, they finished 5th in race number 1. So a first place here certainly helps their cause. And you said this to me earlier. There's nothing better than winning if you're Australian, but even better, winning on Kiwi waters.
Yeah, I'm sure Slingsby will like that. One turn here, just a few seconds until he crosses that finish line. And he'll like doing that in front of the home Kiwi fans.
And your Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Australians. Tom Slingsby and company get the win here at Auckland in race 2. Emirates GBR will finish in 2nd.
That Emirates winning moment's going to feel pretty good. They've looked fast in training, the Australians. They seem to have adapted pretty well to these new foils. But talking about adapting well to these new foils, Dylan Fletcher, Luke Parkinson, let's not forget about Luke flying the Emirates Great Britain boat. And of course, if you've got a tactician, strategist like Hannah Mills at the back of the boat, you've got a pretty solid setup there. Italians, though, let's have a little word for Rigittito, though. Struggled in Dubai, but 3rd place finish there. Ahead of season 4 champion Spain, but Spain consistently there. They're not going away. They're not making too many mistakes.
And then there's a big gap. So you've got Australia, the winners, Great Britain in 2nd, Italy in 3rd, and Spain in 4th. And it looks like Rockwell, Denmark's going to hold on for a 5th. 1 place better than they did in race number 1 when they finished in 6th.
Yeah, they've done a nice job there, and USA have chipped away. They're showing us 6th at the moment. We'll see where they get to on the finish. New Zealand's 8th, struggling here. New Zealand are going to start to need to win races after here. They've got to be in the first few from here. USA have done a nice job of pulling their way back through after that poor manoeuvre where they've had to do a bit of a reset. Done a nice job of that 6th. Canada 7th, and it's going to be New Zealand back in 8th. This is not what we're used to seeing from Burling and Took. What can they find to try and pull themselves back up in these next races today?
So Taylor Canfield and US SailGP do finish in 6th place. Stevie, it could have been a lot worse. They were in 1st. We saw the incident with a big dip. They dropped back to 9th. They salvaged 3 points, so they're now back into 6th. So they have a 7th and a 6th in 2 races so far.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed, but I think easy for the wheels to come off in a situation like that. So again, if you look at the positives, they've done a nice job of resetting.
On the job. Yeah, it's just like a weird pitch, you know? Sometimes you end up in the worst spot there. It's like, GBR look good.
He's just talking, there you go, GBR look good. I agree with you, Pete. They do look like they're sailing the boat well, but they're just talking about that manoeuvre after Mark 1. They were well positioned at Mark 1, again, on paper, but strategically they were struggling. So when they came to do their first jibe, their first turn after Mark 1, they were way out of position, and they went from about 4th all the way back to 10th. They were just in no wind, in a vacuum behind the whole fleet.
Lots of time here. I'm going down.
And the US SailGP team also reported some issues on their boat, but they are there, center of your screen, ready to participate, looking to bounce back in a big-time way. The Americans had a great race, too, until their incident. They've got a 7 and a 6 on their table, with 2 races still to go today.
Yeah, and they did, started well. I think they found space on that start line, so it's can we see space on this start line? It's very clustered at that bottom end of the line. Italy and Brazil nicely positioned right now.
Under 30 seconds to go before the start of race number 3. We're scheduled for 4 here at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix in Auckland.
Well, Spain there making a move on Australia and the United States. They're going to struggle to find it. The pole predictor has Denmark in the optimum position. Right now it goes back to Peter Burling's New Zealand boat out the back of the fleet. He's going to be fast from there, but will he find a gap? He's up and foiling. All about acceleration from here. I like Great Britain's position in the middle of the line, but can they get it up and running? Italy foiling through. Start line goes. Switzerland fire like a bullet from a gun at the top end of the line. What acceleration from Seb Schneider. Can he get over the top? He's going to need to be fast. Spain and Australia on the inside. I think Schneider will lead, but in the pack, it's going to be really tight at Mark 1.
So here we go, mark number 1, race number 3, one more race after this one, and it is Sebastian Schneider and the Swiss out in front. They get the whole shot, and they need a win in a big-time way after finishing 11th and 10th in the previous 2 races.
Yeah, Nice rounding there by the Australians as well in second on the inside here. You can see as soon as you're back in the pack, you're very compromised. New Zealand and United States again out of position after that start, and in a big gust of wind, Switzerland have gone away. Cool there from Maud to AO saying, let's keep it simple. That's easier said than done, but I love the idea. That's what you've got to try and do from here. Minimise manoeuvres, minimise mistakes. Campbell James there asking Cooper Dressler to go hard on the handles to help him pull that big wing sail in, and Switzerland are well set up for gate 2, anticipating a left turn here. This course is a little bit shorter this time, Todd.
This is the umpire's penalty. New Zealand relative GBR not giving room at the boundary.
Hometown fans aren't going to want to hear that, and a little bit of a surprise here as the Swiss opt for the right-hand side at the DP World Gate, gate number 2.
Yeah, well, I can't see a lot of wind out of that left turn right now, so that could be a good call, but potentially just a slightly light wind moment on the whole race course. Switzerland have got a lot of space away from the fleet, and New Zealand and Great Britain, they're out the back. Pressure is already on this Kiwi crew.
Stevie, is that a situation where possibly the coaches who are on shore could have told the Swiss crew, hey, you might want to opt for the right-hand side, we're seeing more pressure?
Well, certainly there's the option for the coaches to talk, so that's definitely a thing. I mean, I don't know how they work it on their team in particular. I think probably easier for the sailors to actually see exactly what's happening on the water. But yeah, maybe they thought we won't make it to that left turn easily. Let's keep the boat going fast, do the extra maneuver, and we'll figure things out from there.
Race 3, leg 3 of 7 in this one. Switzerland out in front. Winners of race number 2, Australia sit in second. Nice showing so far for North Star Canada. They're in third, and Rockwell Denmark in fourth, just ahead of Spain in fifth.
Yeah, really, really tight here. We can see that's tight back in between Italy and Brazil, bottom right-hand corner of our screen on the boundary there. But Switzerland, well, that right turn that they chose was very good here. We're going to look back on board as we see Great Britain and New Zealand. They're sailing towards the boundary. As soon as they enter that boundary, Great Britain are entitled to room. And there we go. Great Britain turns, New Zealand slow to react. And that's what the umpires deemed was enough to be called a professional foul. Penalty New Zealand, costly. Have to drop back behind Great Britain. Yeah, just a simple boundary penalty there. A little bit too aggressive from Pete Burling in that moment. And he's sat back in 10th right now. He's got to find his way through the fleet because Australia, well, they're in second, but they were first in the race before. Switzerland, they've had 2 poor races. They've been right at the back for 2 races in a row, but he's showing how they do when they get a little bit of space. Doing a nice job. Good breeze on the racetrack, but they've got an extra maneuver to do.
Sebastian Schneider there at the wheel for the Swiss as they approach gate number 3. What a beautiful backdrop as the city in the background here in Auckland as SailGP comes to this part of New Zealand for the very first time.
Yeah, that's some backdrop, isn't it? They're right in the city front there, and we can see they're turning away in a big patch of breeze there. Dark water where Switzerland are. I like where they're going for wind right now. We can see there Australia have been overtaken by Canada. Spain have got the right of way, but I think Australia will get past them just about. So it's been a gain to that Auckland shoreline, and right now Slingsby's seen that. He's going back to try and get some of the goodies.
So the Swiss and the Aussies opt for the left-hand side as they head back down. You see Spain and North Star Canada, they go to the other side. Looks like Taylor Canfield and the US SailGP team will go that side as well.
Coming down, 2, 1, coming down.
Oh, Rolex Denmark, he slings it in there. What a manoeuvre for the Danish. Oh, they've been in the middle of the pack all day, the Danes. They'll be looking for a good one, but that little place gained back there could prove really important as we see Great Britain, Brazil, New Zealand bringing up the back of the fleet. They'll be hoping to get back in the race. Wind well rotated to the left here. Straight down the course for Canada, Spain at the moment, and they're potentially putting an overtake on the Aussies.
Look at the speed. Switzerland going 74 kilometers an hour. Canada at just dipping under 60. And here comes Spain. Their speed's still climbing, so they look good. Quick reminder, Germany had a boat issue after race number 2. They aren't able to go in this one. And of course, France's boat not ready in time because of some issues on the main sail.
Australia coming in with the right of way over Canada and Spain here. Spain have got a decision to make. What's Diego going to do? He decides to dip behind and take the left turn. really tight in the pack. You see at 70 kilometres an hour. There's only 22 kilometres an hour of wind as we look on the left-hand side leaderboard there. 3 times the wind speed these boats are doing. That's some solid efficiency.
And Stevie, now if you're Brazil, New Zealand, Great Britain, Italy, Denmark, even the USA, you've got to find a way now to start chipping away and picking up 1 or 2 places.
You absolutely have, and I mean that's historically what New Zealand has been their bread and butter, really, that ability to overtake. I think the United States are doing a pretty good job of that actually out there today. We're going to come on board our Oracle Cloud Insights, have a look at the wind speed here, and we can see it's very different across the course. 30 kilometres an hour on Switzerland. Canada sat in nearly 10 kilometres an hour left wind. You've got to try and find those gusts, and at the moment sailing nearly straight up the ladder line. Switzerland, they're also in a left shift. If you can be in wind and sailing less distance, wow, you are absolutely making all the gains. Big gain to Australia, up to second versus Canada.
So Switzerland has a 200-meter lead over Australia. Canada has dropped back to third, then Spain in fourth. Good time as they approach gate number 5 to check in with Lisa Darmanin down on the water. Lisa, how have the conditions changed, if any, since our very first race of the day?
Todd, they have picked up a lot down here, so the top end is much higher, so that's why we're seeing those huge accelerations, but it is so gusty, and in those lulls, that is really on the edge of these high-speed T-foils, so it is a really difficult game out here. Also, with such a short race course, it means there's much more dirty air because there's wing wash everywhere across this whole course, so really, really tough out here.
And Lisa, while we've got your attention, they come close to you. Are you seeing a different performance from these boats now with those T-foils? Is it really noticeable?
It is noticeable. I think the manoeuvres are the obvious one. And some people are sticking the landing, some are not. I think today it's fairly flat water, so majority of the teams are doing a really good job, but you can see that they're not quite sure how the boat is going to behave at all times. So it's a difficult balance, but with the flat water, they've got a little bit more time to be able to get the boat locked in. But really impressive by the Swiss team right now. They just had a little stumble, but they've come good.
Oh, and a big gain for New Zealand on that upwind leg. They found that gust of wind. Big shift towards the left. New Zealand have found it. Burling spotted it. Big gain for him and Liv Mackay in the strategy department there. They're up to 6th. They could probably do with another couple of gains on this downwind leg if they can. And another little error from the United States. Splash down. Could lose a couple of places here. Costly little mistake. They'd been sailing so well. As Switzerland, what a performance.
And the Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Swiss. Congratulations to Sebastian Schneider and his crew.
Oh, it was a good performance. Australia second, though. The consistency. Slingsby starting to wind it up.
So a 5, a 1, and a 2 on the day for the Aussies. Looks like Canada will come in and hold on to third after their 7th performance in the last race.
Another good one for Canada there. And Rottwell, Denmark and Spain are going to be tight here. North Star Canada going to get a good 3rd place finish as they come across the line there. And their hometown fans, where they're not fully revved up just yet. Look at this different strategy change here by Nikolai Seherstedt. Who's going to dip for the line first? Spain get it, but it was so tight. 1 second in it on the line. Nice bit of strategy from Seherstedt there as we see New Zealand. They're in 6th place.
Well, they did salvage, Stevie, but now they're dealing with a 4th, an 8th, and a 6th.
Yeah, good point save there, Burling said, and that's exactly what that was. He's potentially saved it. They're still struggling, but you've got to fight. Some days it doesn't go your way, and you've got to keep scrapping. And out the back, we can see it's going to be a 7th for Red Bull Italy. Bubudla Brazil come home in 8th. Decent result for those 2 boats, but Great Britain, well, Dylan Fletcher and that British team looked like they were absolutely unassailable in the first 2 races, but a 9th place finish for them, no good. And mistakes are hurting the United States SailGP team right now.
And the USA, after having an incident there in the middle, actually the penultimate leg, they dropped back. They had gotten up to 6th place, Stevie. They're going to finish in 10th, and that's going to be a tough one as the Americans now sit with a report card of 7th, a 6th, and a 10th.
I think the British have been starting the most consistently today. Dylan seems to have been finding a little bit of space in the middle of the line, gives you room to accelerate. If you can turn the boat away from the wind, pop the boat on the foils nice and quickly. These new T-foils just want to accelerate, but you need that little bit of space to do that. So can you find space in the last seconds?
USA first into the start box as we go under a minute to go. The 4th and final race of the day here in Auckland at the Rolex SailGP Championship.
Well, there we go. Blue pole position, suggested place to be. be. That's the optimum place to start there, is right in the middle to lower half of the line, and we can see the USA are set up well for that, but they're early back. They're there for everyone else to hunt. And here comes the hunter. Burling on board New Zealand is coming in with 35 seconds to go. Expect him to spin the boat fairly soon. Going to try and find a little gap in the middle of the line. He's looking to foil out of here. Great Britain, they're late. Germany late as well. Italy out the back. I think United States and New Zealand well positioned at the moment, but Martini Grail on board Mubadala Brazil. She's moved into a nice position with 17 seconds to go. It's a real tussle at that favoured end of the line, and it's all going to come down to acceleration. But New Zealand, they have the pole predictor on them, and I love their position right now. It's 5 seconds to go to the line. Here he comes, the New Zealand crew winding up. How's your timing, Pete Burling? Perfect out of the middle of the line, and when he needed to deliver, he's delivered. Here they go. Hometown heroes are going to need to be fast to roll over the top of the Swiss and the Australians.
And it's the heavy hitters as they approach mark number 1 in the final race of the day. It's the Kiwis and the Aussies as they reach to see who gets the whole shot, and it will go the way of the black foils.
Oh, the sprint leader, Rolex sprint leader there, Peter Burling and the New Zealand crew. Josh Jr. said we've got to get to Mark 1 in good shape. Well, that's the way to do it, and now they look relaxed.
It's good, I think. Out not far, is it?
Average phase here, more pressure on boundary.
2, 1, 4 down.
Sailing into a nice patch of breeze here now. Can they stick a nice smooth manoeuvre now that they're out in front? Looks good for me to go straight into a left turn out of this manoeuvre. New Zealand manoeuvre the boat well. All the boats staying on the foils. That little bit more wind making it easier here. USA again, a little slip up in the manoeuvre. Bottom of our screen. They're off the foils. Another error in the manoeuvre there. They're hurting so bad on that US boat in these manoeuvres.
Oh, the Americans were in a top 5 position, and they will drop back to the back of the fleet. And there you see it once again, the heavy hitters going toe-to-toe. It's New Zealand and Australia 1 and 2, Canada in 3rd, with Brazil in 4th, Switzerland, the winners of the last race. They decide for the other side of the course at the DP World Gate.
Oh, look how much that mistake hurts. They're right out the back here. Spain in 9th, Britain in 8th. This is going to tighten up that top of the leaderboard. Australia first to manoeuvre away out of that side of the course. New Zealand stretching things out. There's a little bit more space on that left turn, and Burling will be trying to use that. Keep the boat fast, try and minimise manoeuvres, but on the bottom of the screen here, Switzerland, they're in one of those left-hand shifts that Peter Burling would talked about, sailing nicely up the ladder line in good breeze, gain for Switzerland. But Australia have the right of way, and Schneider has to yield.
Australia, yeah? Pressure in 2, 1, pressure now.
I think what's interesting there, you heard Seb asking Morgier, you know, is there anyone else there? It's so hard to see the boats on the other side of the course, and what they'd love to see is our SailGP insights there up in the Oracle cloud, and what they'll see is the breeze is quite even across the course right now, not much in it. Australia potentially making a small gain on New Zealand here.
2, 1, 4 down. And sending.
Kiwis cool and calm as they approach gate number 3. Peter Burling and company desperately in need of a win here. Remember, New Zealand got a 4th in race number 1. They got an 8th in race number 2. And of course, they backed it up in race number 3 with a performance that had them really thinking that they were better than maybe the results showed it, finishing in 6th.
There you go, nice upwind leg there. Really nice upwind leg by the Swiss. Of course, they won race 3. If they could back it up, that would put them right back in the mix after a disappointing start to the day.
Swiss, one of the 5 teams in the league who have yet to win an event. And they look very good right now. After a win, they currently sit in 3rd place. And here's where the traffic jam starts.
Oh, what are Brazil going to do here? They're going to go wide of the mark. They've lost it. Runners have gone on, and they're in the water.
This is the umpires' penalty, Italy relative Canada. Windward boat not keeping clear.
Oh, Brazil have got to go all the way round here. It's going to be a massive loss for Mubadala Brazil. They're going to have to spin right round. They got themselves way out of position there. Martini Grail had to avoid the mark. They look well positioned, but they still got to go back through that gate, as we can see Denmark. Rockwool Denmark up to 5th as New Zealand stretch away. Can Burling and Took deliver under pressure? Well, it looks like it at the moment. They needed a race to go well in race 4. Well, it can't go a lot better than a 100, 200-metre lead over the Australians.
And it is the black foils with a great speed as they make the pass through the gate, nearly 80 kilometers an hour, with a huge lead now over the Australians, who won race number 2. Nice parity across the board. You've got Great Britain winning race number 1, the Aussies win race number 2, and the Swiss win race number 3. And it looks like the Kiwis may in fact send the fans home happy here on Saturday, Stevie, with a possible win.
Yeah, look at that. It's tight in the pack, Todd, isn't it? But big game for Great Britain, 9th, and they're up to 4th at the moment. They're going to go in and have a little wave to the fans in the shoreline there, see if they can find some more breeze. But Rockwool Denmark split the course with Great Britain. North Star Canada is Spain. They're so tight. Spain are going to be slow out of this, Mark. Could be advantage Canada.
Yeah, we're good, Spain.
No issues.
Quick moving race here. This is the last race of the day, leg 5 of 7. New Zealand got the whole shot. They have maintained that lead with Australia hot on their heels.
Yeah, massive moment for the British in this race. To go from right at the back of the pack up to 4th would be absolutely huge. Huge race for New Zealand. Well, and Australia, they just look ominously quick at the moment, don't they? They're sailing so well. Coming up to the last downwind leg, Todd, I can't wait to see what this crowd does. If the Kiwis can hang on, they're going to blow up if they can deliver on this final race of the day.
And how about that Rolex chasing time right now? It's between Australia and New Zealand. Right now it's saying 21 seconds, the difference between the two, as the Kiwis trying to stay away from Tom Slingsby and the Aussies, and a last second change as they will opt for the left-hand side.
Yeah, couldn't quite make it round that. Trying to keep the boat speed, and it's important with these new foils you stay fast. As soon as you get slow, these foils want to let you go. There's a lot of technology involved there. They're having to play the cant. They can move the foil forward and backwards. They can move it in and out to change the power potential on the boats. Do they use the rudder downforce? So many things for these sailors to think about, and so much for them to learn. But right now, well, New Zealand, they're heading straight down the course. This one looks like it's going to be exciting for those Kiwi fans on the shoreline as the black foils look set to deliver.
Massive crowd, sellout crowd today as SailGP comes to Auckland for the very first time after 5 seasons. And how about the Swiss, Stevie? Sebastian Schneider, they got a taste of the Victory Cup and they like it. They're currently sitting in 3rd, top of the fleet.
Well, I was about to start talking about the pressure that would be on them after the first 2 races. 10th and 11th in the first 2 races. And they're backing that up potentially with a 1 and a 3 right now. So, oh, tight moment there. Slingsby just about keeps clear. Oh, and he's in the water. The Aussies are probably going to save it and hang on for that second. But yeah, delivering. Here come the Kiwis.
And as they make their way around the last turn, it will be the Emirates winning moment going the way of the hometown fans. Give it up for the Black Foils. The Kiwis win race 4.
That's going to look very pretty on the overall standings to pull out that Emirates winning moment at the very end of the day there, Burling. His hand goes up, Took's hand goes up, Liv Mackay, she'll be happy, but probably the happiest team of the day is going to be the Aussies, Tom.
Yep. What a report card for the Aussies. They go 5th, tough race in race number 1, then they get the win, then they back it up with a 2nd and another 2nd.
Strong day there. It's tight back in the pack here. Schneider and the Swiss, they get 3rd. Emirates Great Britain, well, that could be huge to salvage a 4th in that race there for Emirates Great Britain. Rockwool Denmark consistent, very consistent, but they're going to need to start to sparkle a little bit more if they're going to hope to make Sunday's final.
Denmark and Canada go 5 and 6. And Italy, wow, they've had a strong race as well here at Auckland.
And it's tight on the line. Here come Italy. They're going in at double speed. I think the Italians might sneak the Spanish on the line. Oh, Ruggero Tita. Perfect judgment by Red Bull Italy there. Dives across the line. It was like Usain Bolt giving us a dip finish on the 100 meters there. Spun in front of Diego. And another point game for the Italians.
Germany, after having some mechanical issues and missing a race, they bounced back with a 9th, so good for them. And the USA will finish in 10th with Brazil, who missed that gate up there. Another dip by the Americans.
Oh, it's getting pretty loose out there. It's gusty, it's shifty. Big show for the fans. What a day's racing that was. Brazil, tough race, coming home in last place.
Has been reported by Lisa. plenty of wind, and I think, Stevie, that is something we've been looking forward to ever since season number 4. Put them in these kind of conditions, and these F50s will dazzle you.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty scary pictures of Billy Gooderham there. I mean, let's hope he's okay. And I think I've said this before, but when it's this kind of breeze, Todd, to finish first you must finish is what we've got to do. The guys have got to sail these boats round the course well. Here, Marcini Grail on board Brazil comes diving on the inside with that Brazilian boat. This is going to be a baptism of fire for the 2 new teams, no doubt. Start line, right-hand side of our screen there. That blue triangle, that's the optimum place to be, but you just want to hit the line fast. Kiwis are late to the game here. They're coming into the bottom of the fleet. Will they find a gap at the bottom? I think they will. Spain look to wind it up. The pole predictor sits on board the Australians, and they have a nice gap. I love that position. This is going to be fast and frantic into Mark 1 from here. GBR currently favoured, but can they find a gap through the fleet? 4 seconds to go. Look for that line to turn white. The Australians are lit up. Wow. What a start by Slingsby. Can they handle the speed towards Mark 1? This is going to be frantic.
Just coming back on.
And they are almost 4 wide as they approach mark number 1. It's the first race of Super Sunday, and it is the Aussies who are leading, and they now take the whole shot.
Oh, what boat speed. Will Denmark dive on the inside? They're going to put the bow. Oh, they nearly caught the bow then. The sprint leader, the Rolex sprint leader, lead at Mark 1.
Penalty Italy relative Germany. Windward boat not keeping clear.
Oh, Italy there, they've got to keep clear of Germany being on the outside. The Kiwis a bit in the pack, but they have got control of their first decision here. What a shot this is. These manoeuvres are going to be hard. Can they drop the boards accurately to keep the boat smooth? Australia manoeuvre, and in the pack it's New Zealand. Early to move away from the fleet. They will overtake some boats coming down here.
Well, Stevie, if there was one team you did not want to get the whole shot and check out from the rest of the fleet, it's got to be the Australians. The way they sailed on day number 1, this is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, they've been pretty clinical, and I mean, Slingsby just loves the breeze, doesn't he? Listen to how calm his voice is, despite the fact he's doing 82, 83 kilometres an hour into gate 2 here. New Zealand from back in the pack looked to me like they could sneak round 3rd, and that race for the final is pretty crucial.
Gate number 2, the DP World Gate. Now this could get very sporty.
Pretty technical manoeuvre, turning the boats up here. These new T-foils there, you see the British boat, the front of it lifting high in the air. They're proving hard to control that pitch. Is Danish there, got the hull flying high. Left-hand side, Italy, first to manoeuvre away, and Spain, they've fallen off the foils. A mistake by Botin and crew.
Germany gets a little loose as they opt for the right-hand side, still a little loose.
It's so dangerous. That turn up through the breeze is really, really hard there. As we can see right now, Emirates Great Britain, they're coming across fast.
It's windy, man.
Certainly is, Tom. It's looking windy, but they're looking smooth on board that Australian boat. Look at the fans on the shore. They're getting a close-up view of things here. And Australia, take a look at the Spanish. Oh, they got very, very loose. They've been slow speed since the bottom there. They're struggling to control that boat at the moment.
Not a rookie outfit there. The Spanish, the defending champions from season 4, having their issues handling Mother Nature. SailGP powered by nature, and right now there's a lot of power, but out in front it is the Australians who lead the point total right now.
Oh, Lisa, it looks like the Australians have made a gain. Is one side of the course looking more favoured than the other?
Yeah, well, interestingly, I think the left-hand side, so where sort of New Zealand and Denmark are right now, that's flatter, but there is more breeze on the right-hand side. So I think if you can handle this short, sharp chop on the right-hand side, you are going to find more wind. So it's a bit of a balancing act out here, but they seem to be fairly in control.
And Lisa, any benefits to the new T-foils on these boats when the winds are this high?
I think they're all just learning how the forces work on this boat. We talk about cant, which is how wide the foils can go in, and that's really when you're doing those turn-ups where we saw everyone a bit out of control. You know, that's a really the new thing to learn how to manage the flight of that, and also when they're dropping the boards before a manoeuvre, that's a big extra force of lifts, which is really throwing the flight controllers off.
All right, a lot of this is just about limiting your maneuvers, Stevie. You saw right there, Emirates GBR throwing in an extra maneuver, and Australia able to go straight in.
Yeah, they did, and look, it's tight in the pack here. Germany have made a big gain back on board New Zealand. New Zealand have to dip behind. High pressure move. Oh, and they're putting that water over the boat. The Kiwis aren't looking very fast at the moment. Plenty of work for the New Zealand team to do. They're still in the pack. Germany, they've had the rights on the inside. It's going to get messy for Brazil. Gate 3 is really tight.
Absolute signaler to the top of the course as the Brazilians get through, and watch the Swiss. They'll have to thread the needle behind Spain, which they barely get done.
Oh, nice manoeuvre there by Marcini Grail on board Brazil. It looks pretty calm. She'll be used to these from the 49er days. Respect that bear away as they do a great job. Rockwool Denmark in third, chiding down. In a moment, the Australians are off the foils. Top of our screen there. They got too high. It's choppy on that side of the course is what Lisa told us. And have a look here. Foiling time, well, it was 89%, but Great Britain, they're moving away and they're looking well set for gate 4, but more importantly, they're keeping it foiling that little bit more than the Aussies.
So after a great start, it is now Emirates GBR, their driver, Dylan Fletcher, Olympic gold medalist, taking over for a legend in Ben Ainsley, and those are some big shoes to step into.
Oh, that was the voice of Ian Jensen there. Hit it, boys, hit it, boys. He's talking to the big grinders at the front there. I mean, they've got a huge bit of horsepower on that boat. Nick Hutton, they've got Neil Hunter up there. Huge men at the front pumping those handles round, doing a really great... Oh, it's getting loose on board Rockwool Denmark. They put the bow in, struggling to control these new T-foils. The German submarine. Wow, the bows of these boats are constantly underwater there. Germany get the wide on the round in there, Todd. Look at that. The possible course was right wound where Rockwool are. Denmark are just sliding inside. Germany cannot get it under control. Here come the Italians. They're out of control around here. Oh, it's taking some learning to do these new T-foils.
Talk about messy down at this last gate. You had Rockwool Denmark, Germany, Deutsche Bank, and Red Bull Italy all having issues. Now Spain back in the mix as they have now moved up multiple positions.
Yeah, I mean, it's really all on here, isn't it? We talk about this, but it's a class race between these first two, Great Britain and Australia. At the moment, they look a class apart from the rest of the fleet. They're having a race, very much a match race between the two of them. Great Britain must keep clear here. Slingsby's not going to let Fletcher off the hook, and he really puts the clamps on him there. Advantage with Australia. It's going to be a lead change. Aussies are in the lead, and this would put Australia in a very strong position to the final as he's forced Great Britain off the foils.
Right gate's very favoured.
He's talking here about which way does he want to go. He's saying right gate's favoured, so to turn right's going to save them a lot of distance, but he'd have to do two manoeuvres rather than just one for the left turn. It'll be interesting what Slingsby decides to do.
Big turn, Tash, big turn, big turn, big turn. Keep going, keep going.
And the communication as they transfer the sailors from one side to the other. So it's Australia back in front. Remember, they got the lead at the mark number 1, and then after a mistake, Emirates GBR took it over, and it looks like it's going to be a race in the final two legs. It's gate number 5. They'll go back to the bottom of the course, and then they'll finish right in front of the grandstand.
Coming up. Don't worry about them. All the way down. Big picture. Big picture.
Just trying
like
to
that.
Yeah, well, finished first. First was finished. Dylan's done a bit of squad trading with me, and he's heard that line a few times before. Got to stay in your own boat and sail smooth. I think it's not necessarily how windy the top wind speed is. It's the fact that when these gust hits, imagine you've got a car, 200 horsepower car, and it's suddenly then got 500 horsepower. And that Spanish boat, well, they look like they couldn't control the power earlier on, but they're up to third, doing a great job through the fleet, and the Italians as well. Where are the Kiwis? Well, here come the black foils. Work to do if they want to be in today's final.
And once again, it is Peter Burling, the winners of the last event in Dubai, who had a terrible start, and they've worked their way all the way up to 5th. Don't be surprised if they end up in a top 3 position at the end of this race.
Yeah, look at that, Todd. Middle of our screen there. United States back in 9th place. They just seem to struggle with this full crew format. When there's 4 on the boat, they've done really, really well. I don't know if it's the extra decision maker coming on board the boat. Taylor perhaps likes to run things on his own. I don't know, but the USA at the moment are struggling when they get 6 on the boat.
The Americans did not have their best day yesterday with a 7th, a 6th, and then back-to-back 10th place finishes. So here we go to the final gate, and it will be the Australians. Remember, they won the last 2 races, or the last race in yesterday, winning race number 2. So this will be a second win for them out of 5 races as Tom Slingsby and the Australians bring it across. One more slight dip, and there will be your Emirates winning moment. Australia will win race number 5 here in Auckland.
Oh, On Emirates Great Britain, they drop back to second. They'll be happy with that in their race to the final. Their Emirates winning moment's pretty good, but back a picture. Red Bull Italy could be the story of the race. What a job they've done on board that boat, looking like third at the moment. The black foils, they know they've got such a sense of timing, that Kiwi crew. Can Burling keep that black foils on the foil, or will the Spanish get round? It will be the Spanish with the right of way if they can overlap. It's a sprint to the finish. This point will be crucial in the race for today's final.
Third goes to Red Bull Italy as now the charge is on, and it looks like Peter Burling's going to hold that line.
Big manoeuvre by the Spanish. That's aggressive. That will have been protested towards Craig Mitchell there. It'll be interesting what that way. I think the Kiwis kept clear.
Both kennels, just say stuck kennels.
Oh, did you see the crowd there? That's how I feel, to be perfectly honest. Heart in the mouth stuff coming into the finish there. United States, they come round in 9th, and Rockwool Denmark, well, they were up in 3rd for a moment, but they've dropped right down with that incident. Mistakes are so costly today, but they're easily found.
So Taylor Canfield and the Americans, they will check in top 10, but a 9th place finish. And unfortunately, Switzerland, the winners of race number 3, will finish dead last. Remember, Canada unable to go today, and we are missing France, so it becomes a 10-boat fleet race here for the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I imagine it's feeling pretty busy, even though there are only 10 out there at the moment. That little bit of extra space, probably quite handy. Switzerland, well, they really turned on the form yesterday afternoon. They did a great job of hitting the reset button, and they're going to need to do exactly that here, Todd, because a 10th in the first race is not the result they were looking for.
So a tiebreaker could come into play here as we are now a minute away from the start of race number 6. Remember, there's race number 7 coming up after that, and then it will just be the top 3 teams on points that will race for the title. USA gets in the start box very early this time, Stevie. They need a huge performance in the next 2 races.
Yeah, and once again, you see off the right-hand side there, Canada look like they're having a go, but New Zealand towards that right-hand side of our screen as well. They look late to me again. They're struggling to get their timings in this pre-start, and this battle to the final is going to be so crucial. United States love their positioning at the moment. They've got a lot of space right now. Rockwool Denmark should be well positioned as well. The pole predictor sits on the mast at the top of the United States there. They've got a lot of space, but it's going to be about accuracy from here. New Zealand will struggle to be fast at the gun there, right-hand corner of our screen. Once again out of position. Italy well positioned. Australia foiling with 8 seconds to go. They're going to wind it up in the middle of the line. Here come Australia. How's your timing, Tom Slingsby? Out of the middle of the line. He's fast. He's furious, and he's going to send it into Mark 1 from here.
No problem to Lewin.
Oh, Tash Bryant on board Australia there. No problem to Lewin, no problem anywhere. Slingsby is on fire today.
It's deja vu all over again at mark number 1. It's the Aussies out in front.
Great work by Rockwool Denmark round there. They've got to watch out for the Italians again. Italy, another superb performance. Ruggi Tita and Mael Frascari there doing a brilliant job on that Italian boat. They're right in the mix here. Brazil in 4th place as well. It's so tight, but not on this screen at the moment of the Kiwis. New Zealand are going to need a big catch-up job in this race. Look at the dark patches on the water there, Todd. Massive differences in wind strength around the course.
Okay, down there.
And the search is on to find pressure. The Swiss now have come off the foil, so just like that, Peter Burling will pick up one more spot.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do there, and once again we can see the Australians are lined up well for the mark. Italy have got to be careful of Rockwool Denmark at the moment. Rockwool Denmark have the right of way, but the Italians look fast. Big gust of wind about to hit the Italians. Here they go, watch them line up.
Okay, you're clear. No lower.
Gate number 2, once again, it's Australia out in front. Watch the speed as they come around, and the Aussies put in a big dip.
Oh, they're all struggling to control the pitch of the boat on the roundup as they accelerate through the roundup. They're all getting too high. Flight controllers got to back the lift-off round there. Brilliant work by Rockwool Denmark, and that neat and tidy roundings moved them right up into the lead at the moment.
And look at Martin Grail, the Brazilians. They come around there, and Italy's almost at a dead stop. They got to veer around to the right-hand side.
Oh, background, look at the Kiwis, Todd. Oh, they went from a 90 to 0 in the blink of an eye there. That was unbelievable. Mistakes are happening all around the course here, but the Australians, they are the one constant here. Remember, it's Australia, it's Italy, and it's Spain in this race to the final. And at the moment, New Zealand have got a lot of work to do.
And look at Rockwool, Denmark. They have catapulted themselves into the actual lead right now, ahead of Australia. Spain's coming back into third. The Americans having a good run here, currently in fifth place, almost deadlocked with Emirates GBR.
Yeah, it looks to me, Lisa, like the Spanish team have found a nice wind shift on the left-hand side. Are you still liking that left-hand side of the course?
Yeah, there's some real bullets coming over the headlands here, and it's really nice if you hook into a good one, but it's just so much flatter over here, and I just think everyone's making mistakes, so it's just about minimizing those mistakes, and if you do have one, bouncing back hard.
Lefties here. Yeah, sorry.
Race number 6 is underway. We'll have one more fleet race. That's race number 7. And then the top 3 teams will face off for the event final. Right now, it's Australia out in front. Denmark has dropped back to second. And Spain now, the winners of last year, currently sit in third. And then, Stevie, it's a big pileup of 5 teams about 200 meters back.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty huge at the moment. Australia, well, they're pretty much booking their ticket into the final with this performance. Emirates, Great Britain, they'll be close to certainty of being there as well. But it's the leaderboard on the left there where we see New Zealand in 9th place. They've got some serious work to do if they want to. And, well, they were calling for lefties on board Rockwool, Denmark, and that means the wind's rotated left, and that's got them into the lead. Brilliant upwind by Rockwool, Denmark.
What's in Italy and Brazil?
Where are they?
Just here.
Okay, yeah, I see them.
You see them calling out the boats coming into the gated area as Nikolai Sehested using that communication for Rockwool, Denmark. They have the lead. Can they hold off the Aussies?
Certainly doing everything they can, and the United States a much better showing here in this race by the US team. Here they go. Now they're looking for a smooth maneuver here. Emirates Great Britain chasing them down. Will have the chance to rotate on the inside. Here come the black foils. Work to do, but they're getting themselves back in the match.
So the home team, New Zealand, they sit in 8th place right now. Germany, Deutsche Bank just passes behind them in 9th, and it's the Red Bull Italy team in 7th, with Mubadala Brazil, currently sitting in 6th.
There we go, a little gain to that flat water side here as we see the points on the left.
Currently, that will put Australia, Great Britain and Spain through to the final.
Go hard, boys.
Tommy Johnson, he wants the grinders working hard for him. As soon as it's as windy as this, there's a lot of work to be done by the grinders, I think, on the course, and they've got to get working really, really hard. That horsepower in the front of the boat, huge out there today. Look at the speed on the top of the Australian wing.
One more time at the DP World Gate. Watch the speeds.
Much smoother. Look at that. They just didn't get that pitch jumping up in the air. They kept the boat a lot flatter on the rounding. Rockwool, Denmark, they're at a pretty loose angle here. It's going to be gnarly. Whoa, they just snuck round. Hopefully they're not taking out another one of our marks.
Really good pressure all the way.
Nice. Go, turn your twist. Yeah, copy, mate.
Okay, so look at this. It's tight in the pack here, Todd. Spain have got round in 3rd, which is great for their race to the final. Great Britain have overtaken the United States, but they get a bit loose on board the British boat there. Luke Parkinson flying that British boat a little bit high, but at the moment it seems calm enough on board. New Zealand still back in 8th place. For my money, they need to at least get to 6th to give themselves a shot of making the final.
As it stands right now, it would be Australia, Spain, and Emirates GBR, with Italy just missing out. Fans on their feet as the hometown team comes around. I'm worried about them, Stevie. They're in 8th place right now.
Yeah, I just think the one thing, they've just not looked as smooth in the manoeuvres as we've seen before. Australia basically look the most rock solid through all their manoeuvres, and that's what's showing up here. It's not that they're doing necessarily anything brilliant, it's just that they're not making the mistakes that cost the meters to get lost. They're doing the simple things well.
We got a sense of this on practice days as the Australians look to be spot on, really having no problems adjusting to those T-foils as Tom Slingsby just kind of cut through the rest of the field, and here he is on Super Sunday doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you know, obviously we talk about Tom Slingsby, we talk about all these people, but I feel like it's in many ways, it's probably Jason Waterhouse, the flight controller. He's the one really having to get to grips with these new T-foils. He's doing a nice job.
We should lay. Now we've got to go right turn. We've got Spain just behind. Hey, taking some light patch.
So the Australians going to make a right-hand turn. Spain coming in with Denmark on their right-hand side.
Yeah, Denmark have the right of way here, so Spain expect to manoeuvre. There they go. Spain are going to own the left turn. Denmark will be following them. Great race for the Spanish, and it looks like the breeze has just dropped off a little bit out there, Lisa.
One, up, down. Nice, very nice.
It certainly has dropped off. I mean, there are some big bullets still coming down, but overall it's a little bit calmer. Also, the wave state has calmed down just a little bit, but still pretty gnarly out here for the teams.
No more, Joey.
So gate number 5, they'll make their way back to the bottom of the course, and it's a left-hand turn, and then the finish right in front of the fans. Australia out in front. Spain now moving into second. Denmark third. Emirates GBR in fourth.
Oh, and it's tight from 5th, though, isn't it? 5th all the way back to 9th is really, really tight, and it's going to come down to the details. Rockwell, Denmark, a potential overtake just before the finish. Lovely manoeuvre by Sehested.
20 seconds.
Nice calm voice from Anne-Marie Rindham, their strategist, calling we're all good. It's Australia have got the right of way here, and potentially 2 more manoeuvres for Denmark and the Spanish. It's going to be tricky at the bottom of the course for them.
Hey, stand by. Look out.
Apologies for any slightly marginal language if we see there. Oh, they've dropped the wing sheet down. They've got really slow on that Australian boat. They're really slow for this manoeuvre. It's going to be tricky to re-accelerate here. All got a bit loose on the board drop. Right away, Rockwell, Denmark here. Spain have the right of way over Australia as well. Slingsby must stay safe. He's going to lose the lead. Oh, the Spanish are high here. They're forcing it wide. Can Rockwell, Denmark take the win? This could really put them back in the match for the overall here. Big mistake by the Australians, and that's the first big one we've seen all weekend.
That's more like it.
And just like that, Denmark goes from 3rd to 1st place here in race number 6. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Great Danes.
A bit of spirit on board that Denmark boat there. The Emirates winning moment absolutely went there. Great job.
Ooh, tight finish for second.
Really tight. I don't know if the Australians, I think they just got it on the line, and that could be really costly for the Spanish there. Another solid one for Great Britain. And 6th, up to 6th, right at the end, there's New Zealand. That's going to give them a shot still to make the final. Oh, absolutely crucial points gained at the finish. Italy fall off the foils. Disaster for the Red Bull Italy team, who are so well placed.
And another race on for the battle for 7th, and it looks like it will be Germany, Deutsche Bank, that just gets across before the Americans.
I released it, but why can't you just saying it? Like, just put it up. I didn't know what you're saying here.
And the Swiss will bring across in 10th. So it's USA, Italy, and Switzerland, the last 3, and one more race to go here in Auckland. Everyone wants to know who's in, who's on the fringe of getting in, and where does New Zealand sit right now?
So Australia are definitely through. GBR are pretty much all but confirmed. Spain, though, they've got to do some work to secure their position, because the Kiwis, if they come 3 positions ahead of the Spanish, they could see themselves go through into the final. So for Kiwi fans out there, it's not over yet.
So really, we got a case of musical chairs. There are only 3 chairs available, but 4 people dancing. And Stevie, this will be interesting after this next 30 seconds. Who hits mark number 1 first? And can the Kiwis go full hocus pocus and pull off another come-from-behind win?
Yeah, well, they're better positioned at the moment, but they've got the Battle of Brazil in their way towards the top of our screen. New Zealand are slightly out the back. They will have a chance. The Rolex pole predictor sits on the Spanish at the moment, but they're really stuck in the pack. It's going to be hard. I like where the USA are at the moment. Rockwell, Denmark looping around the outside. They're not out of the mix for the final here either. Brazil are early back to the line. New Zealand are going to be struggling to accelerate. The whole fleet's close to the line. Who's going to get the whole shot here? Clear start there, good start, and it's brilliant at the bottom of the line from Rockwell. Denmark, they're going to be blasting into Mark 1. Can they hold on the fast charging Ruse above them? I think they will. And the Italians light it up. Red Bull Italy coming in fast. Here they go. It's all happening into Mark 1, and the New Zealander out the back. It's going to need a miracle for Burling & Co from here.
4 wide at mark number 1 in the final fleet race of the day, with points up for grab and everyone scrapping for a spot at the table.
Oh, the Rolex sprint leader Denmark, they're setting up for the manoeuvre, and I think as it stands right now, it'd be Rockwool Denmark with that place in the final. Brilliant from Seherstedt.
And forward. Should be good, TJ. You're good now. Slow turn. Jump, Frank. It's jumping heaps.
Oh, look at that. The boats are all over the place through that first manoeuvre. Great save. And Germany get loose, left-hand side of our screen. New Zealand are in the pack, close to the Spanish, and both those boats have got a lot of overtaking to do if they've got any hope of making the final.
Great communication on board Rockwool Denmark. Nikolai Seherstedt talking to TJ. Tom Johnson, who is the wing trimmer. And here we go as they come in to gate number 2, the DP World Gate. It's Rockwool Denmark, Red Bull Italy, and here come the Aussies.
3, 2, 1, turning up. Turning down.
This has been the tricky round in Australia, just on the inside. Controlled though, I think. Can Australia keep the boat smooth? Smooth rounding, and they're faster on board Australia. Those first 3 around clean. Nice job there. New Zealand are slow and on the inside, back in the pack.
Got a turn. And turning.
Oh, look at that view for the fans there, Todd. There's thousands in that grandstand, and they're getting the boats pretty much in their laps.
The big key right now, you've got Spain currently sitting in 4th with New Zealand in 7th. They need to turn that around, the Blackfoils do, if they want any shot at the final.
Future wind here.
Really messy out there on the race course at the moment. Germany are out of the water. New Zealand need to be ahead of Denmark if we're going to get anything here in this race to the final. Remember, a tie break's decided by whoever's ahead in the last race.
Good angle.
And the race to final is so hectic at the moment. Australia clear ahead, but Spain and Great Britain tied on 47 points. The Danish on 46. It is going to be a who beats who.
On Emirates, Great Britain could lose out on the final from nowhere here if they can't start overtaking some boats. Right-hand side of our screen, they're in a tight incident with the United States. Didn't look like they saw each other there. That all happened a bit late. It's slow.
Okay, 8 seconds.
Oh, look at this!
Dylan Fletcher asking the questions there. There's a port tack boat keeping clear, so USA get a penalty, but that's already alleviated as they're a long way behind. That's the Emirates umpire studio there. Chief umpire Craig Mitchell closest to camera. He's making the tough calls out there on the water, but at the moment no tough calls are required to get happening for that Danish crew. But the United States, they are struggling here. Not sure who didn't see. Strategist maybe not quite spotting the British boat.
And Italy picks up
this
a
is the umpire's penalty. Italy relative Spain, port tack boat not keeping clear.
Oh, big
That's going to help Spain and hurt New Zealand.
They need to drop back here. Spain are losing places quickly. New Zealand are up to 4th. New Zealand are up to 4th, but they've got to catch Rockwool Denmark if they've got a hope of getting the final. If they finish behind Rockwool Denmark, they'll be tied on points, but that would put Rockwool through. So New Zealand, desperate times for the Kiwis, potentially needs a mistake for the Danish right now, but New Zealand could be right up the fleet here.
Stay high. Get heavy.
Oh, there's going to be a protest there. Don't be surprised if there's a penalty for New Zealand relative Spain there. It's really tight in the pack, and out in front, the Danish are moving away nicely. Australia are stopping there, Todd. They've retired from the race, I believe. Oh, wow, I hope they've not had boat damage. What a disaster that would be. They're already in the final, but of course, it doesn't matter if the boat's not working properly.
This is like the cable slack, everything working, but
oh, he's not happy there. It's not quite right. Seems to be taking a chance to fix the boat. That's maturity right there.
Well, it's a smart move then, probably, Stevie, because then get the short crew on board and start working on it now while the race is going on.
100%. A real sign of the maturity that you expect from that Australian crew. As we see New Zealand here, potentially up to 2nd. I mean, they've got the bit between their teeth, but they've got to get ahead of that Danish boat if they want to make the final. So it's going to require a mistake from the Danish to give the Kiwis a chance. Seherstedt sailing a faultless race at the moment, somehow burling up to 2nd right now, I'd say. Unbelievable for the New Zealand crew. What a comeback.
So the Danes cleanly around that gate. Gate number 4, they'll make their way up the course, then back down, and then the left-hand turn. Keep an eye on New Zealand. It's New Zealand and Brazil coming together, center of the screen right now.
And that's a reminder there of the point scenario at the moment. So the Kiwis haven't quite done enough to see themselves into the final, but they have sailed from 10th into 3rd.
Yeah, but even if they overtake and get to second, they'll be tied on points, but it's Rockwool Denmark that will make the final because the tie-break's decided by the last race. Brazil, it's Lucid Tilly, missed the mark at the top of our screen there. It's all happening back in the pack. Absolute chaos out there on the water. Emirates, Great Britain, 6th. They can't afford to lose many places on board that British boat either right now. Otherwise, they're going to have a problem with the New Zealand crew. It's really, really tight here. It's going to come down to mistakes if the Black Foils want to make the final, though.
Denmark in the lead, New Zealand in second.
Lisa, what can you see on the water? Is there any chance for the Kiwis of getting away round the Danish, do you see?
Spain's winding out, 20 away.
I don't think so at all. The Danish, they're sailing really well. They're looking really in control around the whole racetrack, and they're legging out. You know, the Kiwis did quite a good shift up the first beat, but they're sort of following them now. So unless there's a big foil out, which we've seen plenty, I think Rockwool's got this locked down.
So 300 meters is the lead for Rockwool Denmark. They have the lead. Stevie's mentioned about it. Emily's talked about it. New Zealand needs to get past Rockwool Denmark, and there you see the distance, and they only have 2 legs to get that done.
And turning.
Oh, it's all happening here. I think right now the Kiwis are just praying for a mistake from Britain.
It's getting flatter and a little lighter to me. Roll through.
Yeah, well, the water does look a bit flatter. I think the current's dropping off a little bit and changing, and that's meaning that it's not fighting the wind as much, so the sea state's smoothed out a bit here.
Getting softer in 3, 2. I'm softer now. Firing away in 5. Hard puff in 2.
There we go, here's those points.
And there's the latest. With Australia out of this race, it does mix the points up again. So Spain and Great Britain currently tied on 48 points. The Danish, though, 46, not currently enough for them to get through.
Emily, let me ask you a procedural question. If Australia had boat damage they could not repair in time for the final, does that move Denmark into the final, taking Australia's spot?
It would, but let's not jinx anything just yet.
Just checking. So here we go. They're heading back down. It's Denmark out in front. Massive lead over New Zealand. The Black Foils certainly don't want to disappoint the sold-out crowd here in Auckland as SailGP comes to the City of Sails for the very first time.
Well, it's just a huge comeback by the Spanish. They've absolutely nailed that upwind leg. They've made a massive gain. They're up to 3rd. That makes it basically impossible for the Kiwis from here to hope to make the final. What a race this has been. It's been an amazing comeback for the New Zealand crew, but they just cannot do anything about the perfect Sebestead.
And it always helps when your Emirates fly time is 97%. When they need it the most, Rockwool Denmark was the cleanest, Stevie, and they have been near flawless here on this 7th fleet race.
Turning up in
Yeah, so deserved. Great start, and they've just been clinical since then.
1, turning up.
Going to take this one nice and wide as they will come across. They'll get a big ovation from the fans, but that partisan New Zealand crowd, they certainly would rather have seen the Black Foils come in here to put themselves in the final. But 2 races and 2 wins.
Job, guys. Beautiful job.
Nikolai Sehested, exactly that. A beautiful job. Moments ago, he told us they're just sailing their own race, but they do get the Emirates winning moment 2 races in a row.
Wow, what a confidence booster that'll be. New Zealand there up to 2nd, but as we say, Spain, I think, doing enough at the moment to make their way through to the final. Emirates, Great Britain should be looking good for that as well. Great comeback for New Zealand, but they just haven't started well enough this weekend. Simple facts, they've not got off the start line, unfortunately for them.
Look at New Zealand's report card. They started the week off with a 4th place, then an 8th place finish, up to a 6th. And then, of course, they had that big win in race number 4, but just not enough points for them. Spain will come across the line in 3rd with Switzerland in 4th.
Brilliant comeback for Diego Botín and crew. They were struggling early on in the race. In fact, halfway through the race, they were still struggling, but they found that little left-hand wind shift that Lisa's been telling us about, made a big gain, and it's going to be Emirates Great Britain will be the 3rd boat in the final as well. Good, solid weekend for the British, and they'll fancy their chances. So all eyes turn to that Australian boat now, Todd. Is there anything wrong with it?
Dylan Fletcher and that very talented Emirates GBR squad coming across in 6th. That's enough to put them in. And now everyone fighting for these final points. You want to go out on a high, and we've got ourselves a little drag race. USA and the Italians getting together as they come to the line here in Auckland.
Yeah, the USA need to keep clear.
Not going to get him.
So it's Denmark that gets the win in race number 7 as they punch their ticket. New Zealand will take second, and it'll be Spain in third. But now the grand final is set. All eyes on that Australian boat. Can they go or not?
4 or 5 past there.
Emirates GBR. We just had a moment to get to know Dylan Fletcher, the Olympic gold medalist driver, stepping in for Sir Ben Ainsley. There's the rest of the crew. Stevie, there's a lot of Olympic hardware on there with Hannah Mills, the GOAT, with 2 gold medals of her own.
Yeah, she'll enjoy these shifty conditions, but I think it was Neil Hunter and Nick Hutton I'd have my eyes on there. Big grinders, a lot of horsepower, means they can get a very quick wing movement.
Heavy hitters across the board here as we take a look at Australia. Remember, they won 3 seasons in a row of SailGP, and across the board with the addition of Chris Draper, that's a powerful squad.
Yeah, I think Chris Draper's slotted in really well. And Tash Bryant, you know, she really loves these windy conditions. And on any foiling boat, she's pretty good. But again, Sam Newton up in the front there. Him and Kinley Fowler really bring that big horsepower into the grinding setup. So I think that boat speed, we shouldn't underestimate the fitness of the grinders, how important they are. 42 seconds to go. Well positioned is Dylan Fletcher for that optimum spot on the start line. The red start line there, the blue triangle's where they'll be wanting to hit. But all they'll want's boat speed. Our Rolex pole predictor sits on board Slingsby's Australian boat with 25 seconds to go. All the boats are well spread out here. It's all going to come down to acceleration, execution from here. Australia first to turn the boat towards the line. Emirates Great Britain, well, 150 metres back with 15 seconds to go. Now they start to wind it up. 12 seconds to go. Spain late to turn. They attack Fletcher on board Emirates Great Britain. Tom Slingsby winds it up. Here come the Aussies. How's your timing, Tom Slingsby? Oh, it's perfect from Fletcher, it's perfect from Slingsby, but Slingsby's got the faster angle into Mark 1, and can he break the overlap? I think he will. They're absolutely flying on board Australia here.
Oh, and Dylan Fletcher goes right at him.
Oh, it's going to be a protest there. That's tight. I think the Australians have kept clear. Spain are tight on the inside, and Australia are going to lead around Mark 1 just with Emirates Great Britain in control tactically.
And the Rolex sprint leader, Australia, they have been serving up a masterclass on the waters here in Auckland.
They're close to the boundary here. It's going to come down to execution. The British boat has a slight wobble on that first manoeuvre. They're off the foil on board Great Britain. That's a disaster for the British. At this level, you cannot make that mistake. Spain have executed well. Australia have executed well. And Emirates Great Britain are going to be out the back.
Stevie, we've seen this movie before when you've got teams like Emirates GBR and Australia doing battle, and that lets the Spanish and Diego Botín slide back into the picture. They were in third at mark number 1, and now they are looking very good, just 100 meters behind the Aussies.
Yeah, but 100 meters at this stage of the race is a lot, and this Australian boat's been the form team. Spain will be set up to go right. Slingsby's going to match that. Fletcher's got to find something from here. I think now it's a case of, does that Australian boat, whatever that little gremlin was, has it cleared up? Does Slingsby feel confident, because the Australians are in pole position at gate 2, and all the other boats are going to be following them, which is absolutely perfect for them.
No surprise here, the Australians won 2 of the 7 fleet races to get to this point, but to Stevie's point, race number 7, they retired after only 2 legs, reporting problems on board. Looks like the shore crew did a great job getting them back and running here in the final.
Yeah, well, let's remember there's $400,000 up for the winner of this race, Todd, so there's plenty of motivation beyond just the overall points. Professional athletes they may be, but they'll still love that prize money, and it's going to come down to the really strong execution. Nice turn there. They tack the boat through the wind. Brilliantly executed. Boat already heeled on top of them there. Draper, the wing trimmer, well, he's slotted into this team so well. Absolutely seamless. And the Spanish are catching, but Australia, great controlling position at this point.
Emirates GBR dropping back to third after that little skirmish with Tom Slingsby and the Australians. So now it's a match race within 100 meters between the 3-time champions, Australia, and the Spanish, going 1 and 2. Winner takes all here.
There we go, our Rolex chasing time shows they're just 7 seconds in it. They're really tied together here. See the different colours on the water there, Todd, the different textures to it. Shows there's really variable wind out there. Australia's sailing into a lot of breeze right now, and expect to see them start accelerating. Draper says a header. That means it's taking them away from the mark, which strategically will be good news for them. Spain are going to lose a few metres to the Aussies here. Look at the speed difference as Australia hit that gust of wind.
Good angle, good angle.
That was a bit messy, that manoeuvre there. They didn't quite get that right. Good enough. Draper's happy.
Like a lolling header on the nose where you ain't their best early. Yeah, copy.
Flight controller Jason Waterhouse crosses over, and now the entire team on the right-hand side.
Very calm on board, isn't it? Real calming voice from Chris Draper there. A lot of experience as a wing trimmer. Stepped away to do a bit of coaching last season, but Slingsby snapped him up when he heard he was free and he'd lost Carl Langford, and well, what a signing that seems to be right now.
At the bill. Nice, clean lap, you guys.
That's really all they need right now, Todd. Clean lap, just got to stay away. Over 200 metres ahead here, and let's be honest, they look faster, don't they? Spanish are doing a nice job. Great Britain struggling to find much option to get back in the race, and the Australians, well, it's theirs to lose from here.
So it's down, back up, and down again before the finish of this event final, and now it is Australia starting to pull away here on leg number 4.
Bingo. Nice, good touch.
Tash Bryant on the wheel now, steering out of that manoeuvre. Brilliant form from the Australians. 100% fly time. Look at that on the top of their wing, and they're just executing the best manoeuvres in the fleet at the moment. Don't want to jinx them. 407. Here we go. Come back to the start, and the Australians and the British were absolutely perfect, but it was Australia with the faster angle to Mark 1. They just kept clear of Fletcher, and maybe Dylan will be regretting that second little dig he took at the Australians after Mark 1, because it was brilliant from both boats. We're on board the Australian boat here. Here comes Great Britain, tries to push Australia. Slingsby reacts, and now he's just clear ahead. I'm sure it was tight, but all was good from the umpires. On board Mark 1, what a view that is as we see how tight it is and the speed they come in. Just clear ahead there, and the British on the inside, but he needed to manoeuvre away a little earlier.
Back to live racing action at gate number 4, the DP World Gate. They split the course this time, so Australia going to that favor side, which they have used so many times before. Spain decides to go closer to the shore and right in front of the fans, and it's Emirates GBR in 3rd.
Oh, you just know any time you get a split in the race like that as the leader, you're nervous. As soon as you get some separation, a change in the wind means that it could benefit that other team. So Spain right now, have they got more wind? To me, they look like they're going well. Let's come in. Here we go. The Oracle Cloud tells us their wind strength is pretty similar, but Spain are quicker at the moment. Tash Bryant's calling across to Australia by 1. It's a gain to Spain out of the bottom gate there. The split has paid off, but it's Australia now heading towards that windier side. Lisa, who's heading to the most breeze right now?
Well, Stevie, it's pretty hectic out here. I think it was a big gain by the Spanish team, so it's going to be neck and neck at this top gate.
There we go, the Rolex chasing time, Todd, down to 4 seconds. Right of way will be with Australia if it's close when they come back together, but it could be a split again at the top gate, and it'll be all about who finds the most wind out of this top gate.
The gap keeps coming down, and Spain still believing that they can get the win and take down the mighty Australians. And here we go. It comes down to this final leg. This is like 5 of 7. They'll get to this gate, and then the race is on.
Yeah, the Spanish looked like they were in good wind there, Todd. I wouldn't be surprised to see another small gain to the Spanish here. They could be absolutely neck and neck. Right of ways with Australia. Our ladder lines show a 50-metre lead to Australia. I think it could be closer than that when they come together, but the Spanish are going to turn right. The water looks choppier that side. It's going to be higher risk. Big gain to Spain here. Can they dive on the inside? Could be a last-minute dip behind for Spain. No, they drop the board. They're going to try and dive inside. I'm not sure that's the right move. I do not sure that's the right move. He's going to try and force Australia wide. Oh, it's so tight. They've executed it well, but that was too aggressive for me. I think he should have split the course. Green from the umpires, no penalty. I think the Spanish should have gone the other way and tried to take the split there. That was a mistake for me.
So Diego Botín rolls the dice, and it comes up snake eyes there on that last gate. Stevie, they go to the other side. There's more pressure there, and now they split away.
Well, they've split away now, but I think they had the chance to just dip straight behind the Australians there. Anyway, very easy sat here from this booth. Diego clearly thought he had a shot at it. He tried it, but they just couldn't stick the manoeuvre. It's now just about, can the Australians do 2 more foiling manoeuvres to get round this final turning mark, and then it could be a victory in front of those Kiwi fans.
And look at the lead now ballooning to 200 meters. Chasing time is 11 seconds. So Tom Slingsby and the Aussies, all they need to do is be clean around this last gate, and it's a straight shot to victory lane.
Yeah, they're going to make this, Todd. They're in one here, so it's just about the roundup. Beautiful downwind leg by the Aussies here. 300-meter gain. Here we go. Going to get to do it in front of the Kiwi fans.
And the Emirates fly time, 82% for Tom Slingsby and the Flying Roos as they bring it home. And there's the finish line. The sold-out crowd will bring them home. They'd rather see black foils, but they're going to see green and gold as they come to the line. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Australians.
Oh, well, they've been the form team of the event. They deserve that big celebration. We keep saying, up against... You've got to remember Spain are the defending champions. Right. That's going to mean a lot to Tom Slingsby. He's not won for a while. He's going to love that. Oh, something's gone wrong there. Too much cant put on by the foil controller. Joe Cardona there, that's a mistake, but it's not going to hurt them too much, but it did get Diego excited.
And they do bring it across safely, so Spain will finish in second place, pick up 9 points on the season, and another strong showing. A top 3 finish at the event. Emirates GBR will finish in third after they finish second at the first event. And let's not forget, the next event just across the Tasman Sea for the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix Sydney. Tom will be looking to make it 2 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I thought Slingsby was the form boat over in Dubai, but they made a mistake on the Sunday. So they are form, they're fast, and yeah, they're going to love what they're doing right now.